first event of 2024, our Residential Retrofits webinar. My name is Jessie Elders, and I manage the Bay Area Climate Change Council. I'm delighted to be moderating tonight's panel discussion and asking your questions live at the end of the session. This webinar will be recorded, and the recording will be shared on our website and in a post-event email. As we begin, please note that the webinar has closed captioning and ASL interpretation. A special thank you to tonight's ASL interpreters, Erin Eldridge and Rosalie Vissers, who you will see spotlighted on your screen throughout the webinar. You may choose to turn on or off closed captioning, and you'll see instructions for how to do that on the slide available on your screen. We've strived to create an accessible space for tonight's event, and we invite you to let us know in the chat if there's anything further that we can do to support your access needs. We recognize that our work and the work of our member organizations takes place on the traditional territories of the Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, Six Nations of the Grand River, and the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. This territory is part of the Dish with One Spoon Treaty, an agreement between the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and allied nations to peaceably share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes. We wish to express gratitude to Mother Earth and for the resources we are using, and honor all the First Nation, Métis, and Inuit people who have been living on the land since time immemorial. Now I would like to take a brief moment to thank our sponsor, Burlington Hydro, for helping to make this event possible. We're grateful for Burlington Hydro's support of BAC and of climate action within our community. The Bay Area Climate Change Council is the host of tonight's event. We are a collective of organizations across Hamilton and Burlington committed to moving the needle on climate change. Our vision is for the Hamilton-Burlington Bay Area to be a thriving net zero carbon community by 2050. This requires an all-hands-on-deck approach to transform how we move around, how we produce goods and services, and the focus of tonight's event, how we use and power our homes. Tonight, we'll be focused on opportunities for individual residents to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions from their homes. It's now my pleasure to introduce tonight's panelists. You should see on your screen, this is in no particular order, Adrian Grudd, a business advisor at the IESO. Adrian works in the Demand Side Management Division and supports the delivery of many community support programs. Adrian has more than 15 years of experience in the energy sector, administering and delivering conservation and demand management programs to residential, commercial, industrial, and institutional customers across Canada. I'm also pleased to welcome Nicole Wright-Akari, Energy Program Coordinator at Green Venture. Nicole holds a Bachelor of Commerce in Entrepreneurship and a fellowship in Social Impact and Technology. She brings experience working with social impact and nonprofit organizations and uses her experience to amplify program effectiveness at Green Venture. I'm also pleased to welcome Lauren McCausland, Better Homes Burlington Coordinator at the City of Burlington. In Lauren's role with the city, I should also say she was the past BAC program coordinator, but in Lauren's current role with the City of Burlington, she provides a concierge service to Burlington residents interested in learning about retrofit opportunities and incentives, and she administers a zero-interest loans support program from the city to support residents switching to an air source heat pump. We also have Catherine Winkleman from the City of Hamilton. Catherine is a senior project manager who has been working in environmental, sustainability, and climate change fields in the public and private sectors for 15 years. In her current role at the City of Hamilton's Office of Climate Change Initiatives, Catherine is the lead for the Better Homes Burlington Residential, or Better Homes Hamilton, my apologies, Better Homes Hamilton Residential Energy Efficiency Retrofit Pilot Program, and works on various other projects to implement Hamilton's climate action strategy. We hope to be welcoming shortly our final panelist, Kim Watson from Green Venture, who is an energy auditor. And we're working with her in the background to fix a few tech issues. So thank you for your patience with that. And we hope that Kim will be joining us soon as well. So with that, I'll start with our first question for our panel. How does heating, cooling, and powering our homes contribute to climate change? And Nicole, maybe I can turn the microphone over to you to start.
Yeah, thanks, Jessie. So yeah, as we continue to witness the escalating impacts of climate change worldwide, from extreme weather events to rising sea levels and habitat destruction, it has become increasingly clear that what we do every day, including how we heat, cool, and power our homes, is directly linked to the health of our planet. In Canada, we have millions of homes, and very few of them are highly energy efficient. Buildings made up 46% of the Greater Toronto and Hamilton area's emissions in 2022, 91.6% of which came from natural gas consumed on site for space and water heating, which is greater than both transportation and industrial emissions, so clearly significant. This is because heating and cooling systems in our homes are often powered by fossil fuels such as natural gas or oil. When the fuels are burned to generate heat or cool air, they release carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. These emissions trap heat and they contribute to global warming and climate change. Additionally, the energy we use to power our homes also comes from various sources, including coal, natural gas, and nuclear power, with others as well. The extraction, processing, and combustion of these energy sources release greenhouse gases and pollutants into the air. Alongside all of these other factors, the general maintenance of our residences also contribute to emissions. Things like inefficient appliances, leaky windows, or poor insulation can all increase the energy consumption of your home. Overall, heating, cooling, and powering our homes is a significant contributor to climate change due to the reliance on fossil fuels and energy-intensive nature of the activities that we do. It's crucial for us to adopt energy-efficient practices, invest in renewable energy sources, and prioritize sustainability in our homes to mitigate these impacts and combat climate change effectively.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Nicole. Catherine, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I just thought I would mention in research that the City of Hamilton did for our community energy and emissions plan, we've got well over 300,000 homes in Hamilton, and that's a lot of emissions, and that's a lot of emissions that we need to mitigate and eventually bring down to net zero by 2050, if not sooner. So really, it's a numbers game too, right? Like there are just so many homes that need to be retrofitted. So I just wanted to add that because it's a huge task ahead of us.
Thank you, Catherine. And just looking to the rest of our panelists, maybe you could give me a little hand signal if you've been inspired by either Catherine or Nicole's comments and would like to weigh in. Okay, so we have as a next question about the techniques that we can use to improve the energy efficiency of a house and how that might help with climate change. Kim Watson would be the resident expert on this topic, but she's unfortunately unable to log in at the moment. So with that, I'd like to start by passing the mic over to Adrian, who may be able to start us off, and then we'll see how we can go from there.
Thanks, Jesse. Maybe I'd like to start by saying I'm by no means a certified energy advisor, so be kind of more so a high level type of kind of energy efficiency kind of measures and things that I guess residents could do to actually make their home more efficient in general. So myself, I work at IESO. We deliver energy efficiency programs across the entire province. We've been delivering energy efficiency programs for almost 18 years now. A couple kind of quick and easy ways that you could make your home more energy efficient is obviously when looking for purchasing new appliances, rely on the Energy Star label. Energy Star label obviously means it's energy efficiency kind of graded high, and so therefore when you're comparing kind of different appliances, whether it be let's just say fridges, freezers, and so forth, obviously it's more kind of has energy efficiency in mind. In addition to that, there's a lot of kind of behavioral type kind of change you can make, right? So, by implementing or kind of by installing a smart thermostat, by installing LED lights. I think all these kind of small different kind of uptake of measures could really help kind of make the home more energy efficient.
Okay, thanks, Adrian. Looking to the rest of our panelists, Nicole, would you like to jump in next?
Yeah, for sure. Some other options that are very impactful in the home is always addressing the envelope of the building, treating the building as a system. One of the largest wastes of energy in the home is paying to heat the outside. So the average house has the equivalent of a 3x3 window just of air gaps around it. So a lot of the air is escaping your house that you are paying to heat. So doing air sealing, doing insulation in your house, and then also getting energy efficient windows to prevent heat loss through the windows, things like that can make a huge impact to the emissions of your home.
Thanks, Nicole. And while actually I'll pass it over to Lauren and then I'll come back to you. Lauren.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Nicole, I think you absolutely hit the nail on the head there. Just jumping in to quickly add that about 80% of the energy that's spent on your home will go towards space and water heating. And if that 80% of your utility bills of the energy that you're producing in your home is just leaking out through your attic, through doors and windows, it certainly adds up. So in addition to targeting that, envelope, if you want to get the biggest bang for your buck, energy efficiency for your space and water heating is absolutely where you should be targeting.
Great. Nicole, I know Green Venture has done a lot of work on the topic of a deep energy retrofit. Can you share a little bit about what that is and what factors should be taken into account before embarking on one?
1 second. Oh, I'm not muted. Oh, hello. Yes. So a deep energy retrofit is more than your run-of-the-mill renovation. It's a comprehensive overhaul of your house. The aim of it is to significantly enhance your energy efficiency and reduce your energy consumption. So instead of sprucing up aesthetics, a DER, as we call it delves deep into the structural and operational aspects of an existing building to make large improvements in its energy performance. So for a deep energy retrofit, we're aiming for a 50% reduction in gigajoule usage in the house. When you're starting out with a deep energy retrofit, you typically would start with an assessment of some sort. We personally do home energy audits, which is what Kim would be speaking to if she was with us right now. So during the audit, we try to identify areas of energy loss in your home. We try to evaluate the existing systems and infrastructure in the building. Based on the findings of that assessment, you kind of create a retrofit strategy about how you are going to approach the changes to your home. Green Communities Canada has identified kind of 3 main steps in retrofitting and decarbonizing your home. So you always want to start with step 1, which is improving the thermal efficiency of your house. As we've said, it's one of the biggest impacts you can have in your home is making sure that when you are heating and cooling your home, you're doing so effectively and you are keeping the hot air in. Keeping the heat in is the big one. So controlling and reducing air leakage, adding insulation, upgrading in windows and doors in your house can improve the amount of energy you need to heat your house by more than 50%. So that's our number one first step. If you do that effectively, you can achieve a deep energy retrofit just with one step. Post that, for step 2, it's electrification. So switching your home off of fossil fuel use. That can kind of happen during the course of like a comprehensive retrofit. A lot of the times that looks like moving to an air source heat pump. And obviously, while doing that, you need to make sure that you do all the air sealing and insulation first so that you're able to pick the correct size for your home. So it's heating your house effectively. Step 3, should you do the first 2, is considering adding a renewable energy system to your home. Typically, that would be solar. And if you do all 3 of those things, you can achieve massive, massive energy savings in your home. Doing a deep energy retrofit, it leads to significant reductions in your energy consumption, but it also can enhance the comfort of your home. It can improve your air quality. And of course, it reduces the environmental impact of your home.
Great. Thank you so much, Nicole. We've spoken about actions that the owner of a home can take to improve energy efficiency, but we'd like to make sure we touch on the opportunities available to folks who are renting as well. What steps can someone who is renting take to improve their home's energy efficiency and reduce their carbon footprint? And Nicole, you're getting lots of airtime here, but I'll start with you, and then we'll move on to our other panelists too.
Well, as a renter, I love this question. I've lived in many different rental buildings, and during the course of doing that, I've had some of the coldest winters and warmest summers of my life. But even as a renter, there's a lot of impactful steps that you can take to improve your home's energy efficiency and comfort. I mean, it's important to focus on what you can control and change within your rental agreement. So you might want to address lighting. You can do energy efficient light bulbs. You can consume less electricity in that way. Next, you want to move on to heating and cooling. I definitely don't have control over the type of heating system used in my rental, but it's important to optimize the efficiency of whatever heating system that you're on. So you might go get a caulking gun, seal around your windows, put seals under your doors, stop cold air from getting in, and stop hot air from getting out. You might consider getting thermal curtains or blinds to stop heat leaving through your windows. And also, it's very important to make sure that you are changing the filter on your furnace. If you have access to your furnace, you should take a look at that. Changing the filter frequently on your furnace can reduce your energy bill by somewhere in the realm of 5 to 15%. Water usage is also an area that renters have some impact. If you take shorter showers, if you notice your faucet's leaking and you fix it very quickly, and then also only running your dishwasher when it's full, things like that can actually make a very large environmental impact when added together and over time. You can always speak to your landlord if you have that kind of relationship about the possibility of them implementing more substantial or expensive energy saving measures. They could install a programmable thermostat. They could be interested in upgrading to Energy Star appliances, which there is benefits for landlords as well. They would see lower energy bills on their end as well. I know that I had a 20-year-old washer dryer in my apartment when I moved in, and we did negotiate getting a newer and more efficient model. So there's definitely long-term energy savings benefits for landlords there as well. And then finally, it's important to be mindful about your overall consumption habits. So, I mean, you got to turn off your lights when you leave the room, unplug your electronics if they're fully charged if you're not using them. And then you can also consider using power strips to make that easier. Any appliances or anything that has an LED screen, it is actually just using electricity all the time. Anything that's on standby mode, it is consuming small amounts of energy perpetually. So yeah, by taking a number of those small steps, I think that renters can play a really significant role in improving energy efficiency in their home.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Before we move on to a new topic area, I'll just pause to see if any of our other panelists have additional comments on opportunities to improve the energy efficiency of a home as an owner or a renter. Okay. In that case, then the Bay Area Climate Change Council is focused on reducing greenhouse gas emissions within the municipalities of Hamilton and Burlington. So at this point, I'd be grateful for the opportunity to chat with Catherine and Lauren from our two cities on how our municipalities are helping residents to reduce emissions from their homes. And maybe I can start with Lauren, and then we'll pass the mic over to Catherine.
Sure, thanks, Jessie. So not way back, but in 2020, which feels like a long time ago, but in 2020, the City of Burlington approved our Community Climate Action Plan, which outlined 7 key program areas to help Burlington become a net zero carbon community by 2050. And one of these program areas was the creation of a home energy retrofit program. We recognize that residential buildings make up just over a quarter of Burlington's community greenhouse gas emissions. A good significant chunk of that is natural gas. So home energy upgrades present a significant opportunity for us to reduce our community greenhouse gas emissions. So in September of 2023, we launched the Better Homes Burlington pilot program, which consisted of 2 components. The first was a zero interest loan for air source heat pumps, and the second is a concierge service. So to start with the former, these zero interest loans were up to a maximum of $10,000 for residents to purchase and install an air source heat pump, and for air sealing to support the performance of that air source heat pump. These loans will be repaid over a 5-year term through a local improvement charge, or an LIC, which is repaid through the property tax system. We had our applications open for just a little under 6 months, and we were really thrilled that we received over 60 applications for the loan, and from residents all across Burlington. It's not coming, this interest in home energy retrofits isn't just coming from the downtown core. It's not just coming from, rural Burlington. It's all across all wards, a variety of housing types, from single detached to townhomes, and heating sources as well. We did have some applicants that were on heating oil, as well as natural gas. So of all these applications, we ended up granting 16 loans, and it took the pilot program participants an average of 2 months, a little over 2 months, between first contracting myself, the program coordinator, to inquire about the loan, and actually getting the heat pump installed. And then beyond that, it was an average of about another month until we were able to disperse the funding to our program participants. So we're really pleased with these metrics, that we've been able to produce a program that has been able to operate with agility, and get heat pumps in the ground and get residents their money quickly, compared to some of the other funding programs that are available out there. And I mentioned our concierge service. So we have a phone line and an email. So we assisted an additional 130 residents throughout that period by providing information and answering questions about air source heat pumps, energy audits, home energy retrofits, you name it. And what we're hearing from residents time and time again is, I'm interested in making my home more energy efficient, but there's so much information out there. I don't know where to start. I don't know who to trust. And residents have let us know how incredibly valuable it's been to be able to speak with a real human being on the other end of a phone line, ask their questions, and be able to have those consistent touch points throughout the process, to be able to go back to the same person, as you're discussing your energy audit, to as you're discussing quotes for different makes and models of heat pumps. So our concierge service has been answering questions not only about the Better Homes Burlington loan, but the other incentive programs that are out there, other improvements beyond fuel switching, like those envelope upgrades we were discussing. So we do have a phone line and a general inquiry inbox. I'll pass it over to Jessie to be able to distribute those contacts with you all here. And that concierge service is ongoing. So please send us your questions, and we'll be very happy to help. So our pilot program has been very well received over the past 6 months. We're very happy with how it's been doing. And we're eagerly working behind the scenes to develop a report that'll be going to council in the next few months with our recommendation to extend the program.
That's great to hear, Lauren, that it's been such a success. And certainly we will be sharing a number of resources actually with registrants after the webinar, so that you can follow up with more detailed information that you heard from each of our panelists, and also with specific information about the Better Homes Burlington and Better Homes Hamilton programs. Catherine, can I turn it over to you? I know Hamilton's at has a pilot program as well. It's at an earlier stage. Perhaps you could speak a bit to what's happening here in the city of Hamilton.
Sure. Yes. So our Better Homes Hamilton program is a bit similar to the Better Homes Burlington program. It is also a pilot program, and our pilot program launched on December 1st of 2023, and it closed on February 1st, 2024. So just at the beginning of this month. Ours also is a 0% interest loan for residential energy efficiency retrofits, meaning single detached homes, semi-detached homes, and townhomes. Well, I guess I can say, since the window has already closed, we had over 160 applications, and we are currently in the process of going through the applications, just checking eligibility. And because we are only able to accept 50 participants to proceed through the program, we have developed pretty robust selection criteria, which we at a high level also put on our website so that we were very transparent and people could see what it is that we would be looking at in terms of selecting those homes should there have been more than 50 applications, which there were. So we're in the process of going through that now, and we're hoping certainly in the next month to be able to let participants know whether or not their applications were successful. So again, our program is a little bit different from Burlington's in the sense that the scope of our program is a little bit larger. So first of all, we've been talking a lot about building about building envelope, and so building envelope insulation and air sealing is one of the eligible, or I guess it's a category of eligible measures that you can use your loan for. And of course, we, as you've heard a few times now, or several times now, we highly recommend that that's the first step that people take in terms of planning out their retrofits. So building envelope, and then mechanical systems, meaning air source heat pumps, right? So that's your standard air source heat pump, your cold climate, mini splits, so those mechanical systems, as well as smart controllers and whatnot to help those work as efficiently as possible. And there's also supporting infrastructure that is eligible under the Better Homes Hamilton program. So for example, if you need to upgrade your ductwork and your electrical panel for an air source heat pump, that is also an eligible measure, as well as the energy efficiency, energy audits or energy assessments and relevant building permits that you may need to implement your retrofits. So the loan, you can get up to a maximum of $20,000 with the Better Homes Hamilton loan, and the repayment term is either 10 or 15 years. So similar to Lauren, we provide a concierge service of sorts. For Better Homes Hamilton, we call it, well, I'm the program coach, essentially. And so my role is to help walk people through the program and answer questions. And, if they've got questions about getting contractor quotes and just discussing, needing an ear or someone to bounce ideas off of in terms of their retrofits. That's one of my roles as, in administrating the program. So what else can I say about our program? We were super excited with the interest, and the idea behind this is we're hoping to be able to scale this up in the future. So right now it's just a retrofit program, which is why it's limited. Council had approved $1 million for $20,000 times 50 homes is $1 million. So that's how we came up with that number. But we're really hoping again that this will be able to be scaled up in the future, and hopefully looking at possibly commercial buildings and condominiums and other types of structures.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Catherine. And so just to make sure it's clear for folks, I take it for both the City of Hamilton and the City of Burlington, the loan programs aren't accepting any new applicants at this stage, but can folks contact you for questions about retrofits in general, if they're not participating in the loan program, but are looking for the concierge service? Catherine, maybe I'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, generally, and people already have been, right? For even people who've called and weren't eligible, I have been able to talk to them a bit about their specific situations and also point them to resources that if, for example, the Better Homes Hamilton program isn't a good fit for them, which could be the case. I've been, as I'm sure Lauren has also been doing, pointing people to other opportunities and resources that they can access and to be able to see what they can do.
Great. Thanks, Catherine. And Lauren, I see you nodding. I take it it's the same for you?
Yes, absolutely. And that honestly, we want our concierge service to be used by far more than just people who receive the loans. So I've shared some contact information with Jessie. I hope she'll be able to pass that around to you. But yes, please, regardless on what stage of your project is in, we're here to help answer your questions and provide any support we can.
Perfect. Thank you both so much. And I know here at BAC we'll be watching eagerly for the future of both pilot programs. And I know there'll be an opportunity for folks who are interested in advocating locally. And Burlington City Council will be considering the continuation of the Better Homes Burlington pilot program in the coming months. And so certainly BAC will be there in support, and please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions about how you can get involved in supporting these local programs, which help us to reduce emissions from our homes. Beyond local municipal programs for home energy retrofits, are there any other financial support or incentive programs currently available to owners or renters wanting to improve the energy efficiency of their home? I know those of you who are working in this space know there'll be lots of questions about the Greener Homes program and the HER Plus program, which we'll touch on soon. But first, I'd like to pass the microphone over to Adrian to start answering that question.
Thanks, Jessie. So building off kind of all the pilot programs which City of Hamilton, City of Burlington are putting on, which are kind of some great programs. From a provincial standpoint, we have kind of two programs which I'd like to highlight today. The first one being the Energy Affordability Program, and the second being Peak Perks. The Energy Affordability Program is IESO's program for low and moderate income households. It provides support to income-eligible electricity consumers by offering tailored energy savings upgrades for their home, all at no cost. It helps residents lower the monthly electricity costs and increase home comfort. So those consumers which are most in need may qualify for an in-home energy assessment, followed by direct installation of actual energy-saving measures through the comprehensive track. This may include standard upgrades, replacement of old inefficient appliances, or weatherization measures. And also, which is what we're really pleased to kind of announce, is just as of late last year, we also launched cold climate air source heat pumps to the program through the comprehensive offer for income eligible households which are electrically heated. And this is all absolutely free. And then those that don't qualify for the comprehensive stream, which has kind of stricter income eligibility requirements. We do have more of a moderate income stream where participants may qualify for an energy savings kit with easy to install products that will help them to save energy in their homes. And this includes kind of in the kit is measures such as LED light bulbs, dry line for clothes, faucet aerators, as well as block heater timers. So that in a nutshell is the Energy Affordability Program. In addition, Energy Affordability Program, I want to touch on Peak Perks. So Peak Perks is another kind of success story. We launched this program just last year. It's a smart thermostat program where participants can save energy through brief smart thermostat adjustments during peak electricity demand periods on this on the hottest summer days. These are called peak perk events. These events help reduce stress on the electricity grid, especially on very hot summer days. The events will occur only on weekdays. It won't happen on statutory holidays. And these events will last up to potentially 3 hours during peak periods. And in addition to kind of not only kind of immediate financial benefit from obviously reducing electricity, also reducing greenhouse gases. There's also other financial incentives. So by participating in the program, just enrolling itself, you're eligible for a $75 virtual prepaid MasterCard. And then also for all follow-up years, you're eligible for a $20 virtual prepaid MasterCard. So to date, just as of launch kind of last year, so over the past, I want to say 6 months or so, we have over 100,000 subscribers already in the program and climbing. So yeah, so we're definitely proud of that.
Oh, that's great. That's great, Adrian. Thank you. And folks, there's a lot of detail here. I mean, in terms of the available programs, which is excellent. And Adrian has put together a package that we'll share with folks after the webinar, which outlines in detail some of the programs and how you can learn more about these opportunities. So, Adrian, is there anything else you'd like to add before I move on?
No. In addition to the package, which will be circulated, I guess, following this call, also encourage everyone to go onto our website, so www.saveonenergy.ca. Save on Energy, for those that don't know of, is obviously our sub brand, kind of at the IESO. Has a trusted brand, kind of been in the market for 18 years now, approximately. And so there is obviously further information as far as eligibility criteria in all of our programs, as well as some other additional resources you could obviously leverage and use.
Great, thanks, Adrian. I'll just take this moment to note that we have about a little more than 15 minutes left together. I'm going to ask some more questions, but I'd just like to let folks know that there is the opportunity, as some of you have taken advantage of already, to post questions for our panelists in the Q&A. We'll do our best to get to them, and if we're not able to do so during the panel, we can follow up in writing afterwards. We will answer questions that are related to residential retrofits, but not questions that sort of go beyond that scope. So just in terms of managing expectations, that's the lens we're hoping to apply in terms of how we get to questions. So with that, maybe I can start with one of the questions that we had and also that has appeared in the chat, which is about the status of the Greener Homes program. And perhaps I could start with Nicole on the history and status of that program.
Yeah, I really do quickly want to hit on kind of a high level why we have incentive programs. So just to note that Canada's emissions reduction plan aims for a 40% decrease in greenhouse gas emissions by 2030, and we're aiming for net zero by 2050. So while building and like low-rise residential buildings have decreased their emissions by 6.1% in between 2005 to 2019, we just really need to be making some significant strides in that area to reach our goals, which is why incentive programs are so important. Unfortunately, the Canada Greener Homes Grant and HERPLUS have come to an end. They're not accepting new applicants as of last month, which is definitely disappointing news. We are waiting on an update about what programs will be coming to replace it. We have heard that a new program from NRCan will likely be targeting lower income homeowners. And we're also awaiting a new program coming from Enbridge, who has contractual obligations to provide an energy incentive program. It's not all bad news. So it's heartening to note that under the Canada Greener Homes Grant, at least at Green Venture, our clients made large strides. achieving close to 30% annual reduction on average in their greenhouse gas emissions, which is exactly what we want to see. I think that this proves that incentives do work. So yeah, the Canada Greener Homes Grant, it was a victim of its own success, which is not what we want. We firmly believe that all successful incentive programs should be sustained and improved upon, as opposed to prematurely being discontinued. As a quick update for anyone that was registered in the Canada Greener Homes Grant prior to its closure, if you did have a pre-retrofit audit and you have been registered, it is anticipated that your rebates will remain secure, but definitely if you have any questions, get in touch with your service organization who did your audit. Outside of that, I will be sharing with Jesse, we do have a letter writing campaign. We want to encourage you to contact your representatives to talk about incentive programs, why they're important to you, and that you would like to see a strong, organized, and just like a rigorous continuation of this very successful program.
Great. Thanks, Nicole. And we have a question in the chat that I think builds nicely on our conversation right now, which is for those folks who aren't participating in an incentive program, is there a more general resource available that offers some guidance on how to improve your home's energy efficiency and about potential retrofits that might be a bit more specific than, for the example here is instead of just the broad tip to add insulation, but more specific guidance about what's required in our local climate. Is there anyone who may be able to offer some information about a resource like that?
Maybe I could start, and maybe if that's okay with you, then maybe Lauren or someone else could jump in afterwards. But kind of another kind of shameless plug is with regards to energy affordability program, which is obviously the income eligible program. If you're eligible for the program, we then have a certified energy advisor come to your home and really kind of do that full assessment kind of on your behalf, once again free of charge, really evaluate, kind of see what the needs are, what upgrades could be done to the home to kind of really drive energy efficiency, increase home comfort, and reduce electricity costs. So that's kind of the first comment there. Also, we still air source heat pumps kind of for us is obviously just a new kind of a new technology which is launched in the program. That's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere right now. So that might be kind of definitely a unique opportunity for those that may be eligible for that. And maybe another kind of comment more broadly on the Save on Energy website, we have a number of kind of tools and resources there. So that might be able to help you kind of with a buying guide when trying to kind of decide as far as what kind of appliances to buy for, some things to look for. Those are maybe just some general things you may want to kind of consider.
Great, thanks, Adrian. Looking for panelists with their mute off. Nicole.
I'll share a link here. Green Communities Canada does have a deep energy retrofit hub that provides a lot of really good information. I've sent that in the host and panelist chat. Maybe that can be shared after the panel is over. But yeah, there's information there about just like kind of how you might approach this. I'll definitely second Adrian in that having an energy audit is a very good way to get like a personalized and specific just overview of your home. It's hard to say without visiting the home sometimes where insulation needs to be added, where like air is leaking out of the house. So I would definitely recommend looking into that. But at a high level, if you go around with a caulking gun and you seal up the edges of your windows, it will likely help.
Great, thanks, Nicole. There's also a question. Oh, no, Catherine, sorry, I'll go to you first. Catherine.
I just wanted to add a couple of things to that. On the Better Homes Hamilton website, we do have a resources section at the bottom of the page where anyone can click on those various links to be able to find resources. Some of them a lot of them are actually through the utility companies. And we have the information also that Adrian was talking about. But one of the resources that I actually find really helpful is an NRCan publication called Keeping the Heat In. And really that's a sort of like I mean, it's a how-to more or less. It's quite comprehensive and it can be a bit overwhelming. But if someone is really interested in getting an understanding of the science behind like just how insulation and air sealing works, and it's a really good publication that keeps getting updated. So it's been around for quite some time, but they do keep updating it. There's also information on the NRCan website regarding how air source heat pumps work. And so NRCan actually really does have a number of good, there are a number of good resources there for people who want to dig in a bit deeper in terms of doing research and understanding what might be a good fit for their needs. So I just wanted to add that.
That's great. Thanks, Catherine. For those of you who couldn't see well, because of the spotlighting, Nicole was thumbs upping the NRCan publication.
Yes, I also had a quick note to add. I actually did forget to mention while talking about financing your upgrades to your home, that while the Greener Homes Grant is no longer accepting new applicants, the loan is still operational. So it's a $5,000 to $40,000 interest-free over the course of 10 years. It does require a pre-retrofit audit and a post-retrofit audit. But that is a way that you're able to help yourself finance any retrofits to your home without being subject to, currently high and fluctuating interest rates or even borrowing on your home.
Thanks, Nicole. We have another question here about scalability. And I guess this is a challenge that we're seeing with a lot of incentive programs is how to scale them so that we can have, because really the reality as we've been talking about is that all buildings really need to be retrofit. So perhaps I could open up the floor for any thoughts or comments about routes to scalability. And one of the suggestions in the chat is about private financing or a municipal bank. And I'm just curious if any panelists might have thoughts on the scalability challenge. Lauren?
Yeah, I'm happy to start this off. And I think, unless anyone on this call has an absolutely brilliant idea we've never heard before, I think truly this is a question that we're all grappling with, right? And it's so wonderful to see so many municipalities starting to offer these home energy retrofit programs. But then the question does come to, like, does the municipalities have the capacity to finance literally every single retrofit of every home in their municipality? Which realistically, the answer is no. So to some extent, does this require a coordination between municipal, provincial, federal government to some scale, and to what extent? There's a big question mark around that. But it certainly is interesting to see how some other municipalities outside of the Bay Area have been operating. With Durham region, for example, and how their financing model is through third parties with Guelph. So there's a lot of other municipalities and regional, areas in Ontario that are trying to figure this out. And it'll be interesting to see whose, strategy kind of comes out on top in the end. But I think time will tell.
Thanks, Lauren. Anyone else? Catherine?
I'll just also add, I mean, the reason that we're doing a pilot program is to be able to gain some, to learn lessons so that we can more effectively, scale up the program. But as Lauren was saying, that there are limits to scalability in terms of, regarding how many homes need to be retrofitted. Municipalities would never be able to finance all of that, right? Regardless of even if they're loans, it's just not possible. So yeah, I mean, maybe a more regional approach needs to be, or a provincial sort of approach to these municipal programs. I mean, Toronto has proven that it is quite successful, right? And they've been doing this program for, I think, or their version of this program for, I think, over 10 years now. So we know that it can be successful, and it has been successful. The question is, how do we continue to, or make it successful on a much larger scale? And I don't know that anybody, like Lauren was saying, has quite figured that out yet, but perhaps pooling resources, like human resources, and working together, really that may be the best way to do it. But we'll have to, maybe we just have to try it to see, right?
Right. Thanks, Catherine. Adrian?
Sure. If I could also just add, so at the IESO, we're delivering under the 2021 to 2024 um, 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 energy efficiency framework, and so that expires end of next year. However, there is obviously heavy interest as far as creating a more enduring approach, a longer framework, given the fact there is obviously a sustained, or kind of there is an appreciation for, let's just say, energy efficiency in general. Is obviously kind of the writing on the wall. Obviously, it is a kind of a viable, it is a cost-effective resource. So from a provincial standpoint, there is kind of, we have been hearing kind of from the government that, okay, yes, there is obviously a huge interest as far as electrification, and so we're going to continue delivering energy efficiency programs to kind of all sectors to kind of do what we can to kind of help kind of meet those climate change initiatives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I will say, I noticed I'm mindful of the time and the list of questions. So I will note that I do see a number of excellent questions about the future of our energy planning in the province, that recognizing that some of our strategies that we've been talking about today involve increased electrification. And so obviously that's how we're going to power our changes is an important question. And I think it's something we're not going to be able to touch on today, but I'll just say that it is an area of focus for the Bay Area Climate Change Council. We've been talking internally about the increasing importance of looking at questions of access to clean and low emissions energy. And so maybe stay tuned for a future panel on that topic. There are two fairly technical questions here that I might ask or close out with just before we sign off. One is about whether, new homes built within the last 15 years could benefit from home energy retrofits. Now we're missing our energy auditor on the line, but I wonder if any of our panelists might be able to speak to that. Nicole?
Yeah, definitely. So homes that were built, many, many years ago definitely see the greatest impact from completing retrofits, in that when they were built, the building codes were different and they weren't required to meet certain energy efficiency standards. However, the majority of homes are still operating not incredibly efficiently. Getting an air source heat pump is a big one. Moving your home away from fossil fuels will always have a positive impact. And that's something that I think even people who have very current homes can look into.
Great. Thanks, Nicole. And then another technical question about air sealing is a good first step to help reduce energy leaks from the home. What does that mean in the basement? Again, a great question. Anyone here with the sort of wants to take a stab at that? Nicole.
I wish that Kim was here, because
yeah, we all wish Kim was here. We're sorry that she's not. And actually,
Kim's
if you're not
got
able to, we can follow up after.
Yeah, I was gonna say Kim would be a great person to answer this question. I know she has a lot of opinions and knowledge about this. At a high level, there's always the basement is a large area of heat loss in a lot of homes. So I think we could definitely dive into that further.
Okay. Well, on that point, then we will we'll take some of the questions that we've received here in the Q&A and reach out to Kim and aim to provide some answers to all registrants after the event. It's 7:31. We did start a few minutes late, but just out of respect for everyone's time tonight, I think this is where, unfortunately, we'll have to wrap up and close off the evening. We're really thrilled to have everyone here tonight and to have the opportunity to speak with our knowledgeable panelists. Thank you so much to our panelists for joining us tonight. Again, to Burlington Hydro for sponsoring the event, and to our ASL interpreters for managing our failed attempts to speak as slowly as possible. So thank you very much. And yeah, please stay tuned for future back events. I'm very excited to forecast that the annual Back Climate Forum will be happening again this year on May 7th. So hold the date and stay tuned for further details about that event. We'd also like your feedback about our effort tonight, and you can share your feedback on the Google Docs form that's just been shared in the chat, or by using the QR code on the presentation on the screen now. So thank you so much to everyone for your participation tonight. This concludes our residential retrofit event, and we wish you the best for the rest of the evening. Thank you so much.